cart or grab one from another cart. So, Fieldpiece makes recovery machines and vacuum pumps, okay? So, this one right here is a recovery machine, this one right here is a recovery machine. The Fieldpiece vacuum pumps look exactly the same, except all the ports are on the side right here, okay? Instead of here, they're on the side. So, I have my recovery machine, my recovery tank. You're going to need a micron gauge. I have my scale. My vacuum pump. You're going to need an additional black hose. That's for vacuuming. You're going to need an additional yellow hose. A set of gauges. One Schrader core removal tool. And power. Let's go ahead, plug that somewhere over there. So we have multiple extensions, like this one right here. I have another one that has 4 outlets. You only need 1 outlet. And the reason why is because you can only do 1 machine at a time. Okay, so you guys are all gathered right here. 2 units could at least share that one. Maybe 3 if you're lucky. So we are going to recover first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure my tank and how much I have in it. So I'm going to zero it out. Place this on here so I can see it first. 17.3 pounds. I'm going to look for the tear weight of this. Tear weight is 17.1 pounds. So that means I have 0.2 pounds of refrigerant in here, right? Because it was 17.3, this is 17.1. Now, a point something pound does not equal ounces. So I do not have 17 pounds, 3 ounces, okay? I have 30% of a pound, okay? So that's not 3 ounces, okay? So don't get that confused. So 17.3, good to know. I'm going to hook up my gauges like I normally would. You can try to take out the Schrader first, but I have very bad experience with all these units trying to get the Schrader out. So we're just going to leave the Schraders in and then we'll remove them later. None of these systems are going to have full charges because if they did, we would be here forever doing recovery. If I need to add extra refrigerant, I'll try to find some recovered refrigerant already, so that way I can get that for you. Like for instance, this one says 0. So let's see if I can get anything from this. I'm just trying to put as much refrigerant into the system as I can, just so I can demonstrate this. You're not going to do this out in the field, obviously. put my gauges on, and it says I have just over 25 PSI, about 30 PSI. This yellow hose is going to connect. If you have a blue filter, use it. If you don't worry about it. But you're going to connect to the in on the recovery machine. Okay, make sure your connections are nice and tight. Make sure it says closed. Then you're going to grab that extra yellow hose I told you about, and you're going to go from the out and we're going to go to the vapor side. Now, pay attention. What is vapor for us? We've always said vapor is blue, right? If I read the handles, liquid is blue, gas is red. Okay, so you can't just go off of color. You have to read the handles and see which one says gas, which one says liquid. So I'm gonna go into the gas side because I wanna just dump it right into it, right? I don't wanna go down that dip tube. So, system's on there. We'll zero this out one more time. Put this on, see the weight. 17.45, it's probably because of the hose, a little bit of pressure. We are going to zero it out now. So my tare weight was 17.1. My water column weight, where is it? Water column weight, 26.2. So I'm going to get 80% of 26.2. I can put in 20.96 pounds. Okay, it's almost 21 pounds into this. However, there was already some in there, right? So I have to take that into account. So I'm just gonna call it safe and say 20 pounds even, that's it. That's all I'm gonna put into this, if I had 20 pounds. So that means when this scale hits 20 pounds, I need to stop, swap out tanks, okay? Then I'll zero this out and then get a total weight of my tank to see how much I have in there. Okay, this is what I do here. Okay, everything is closed, closed, closed. All right, so what I want to do is I want to make sure I purge out any air going into this machine. Okay, so what I'm going to do is with it closed, I'm still going to start it. But I'm gonna open this up. I'm gonna open this up and get all the air. Okay? So open both sides. You don't have to open them all the way, just enough. I'm gonna start. Purge out that air and stop it. Okay? I just purged out whatever air was in there. Now it's just nothing but refrigerant. I'm gonna do the same thing here. Because now that refrigerant started purging, but I probably still have air here, so I'm gonna do the same thing. Okay. You could also go to self-purge. Self-purge is only gonna purge what's inside the recovery machine. Okay, so I can do that again. All right, everything's good. I can now open this gas valve. So I'm gonna open it up. I'm going to set my machine to recover. Now this opens up everything to where it's gonna start recovering and pumping it into there, okay? So I'm gonna hit start, and I'm just gonna let it do its thing. It tells me how much pressure it feels coming in, and then it tells me the pressure that's pushing it out. So right now it's at 8 PSI, 7 PSI, 6 PSI, but it's pushing out 55, 56, 57. So it's pushing out higher pressure than it's pulling in. Recovery machines are pretty much like condensers. It pulls in pressure, pumps out pressure. this is gonna get down to negative pressure. The reason why is because remember we have to hit a certain inches of mercury in this. When we recover, we get down to a vacuum, so that way we can then start the actual evacuation process. So we're at -6 right now, it's still pumping out. Most of these machines now will stop on their own. Okay, so you don't have to sit here and stop it, they'll just stop on their own. Okay, so it hit its pressure, it stopped. It's at 0 PSI, it's saying -5 now, it's saying it's complete, and it still says that it has 77 pushing out. So I want to purge whatever's in here still. So I'm gonna go to self-purge. My pressure just jumped up to 66. 66 on the in, 76 on the out. The reason why is because now it's reading the pressure inside the condenser as a whole, or inside the recovery machine. So I'm gonna start it again. It's gonna pump it out. It's done. I'm gonna close it. Close the tank. I'm gonna look over at my gauges. My gauges are actually below 0, slightly. They're not at the greatest vacuum, but they're still below 0, okay? Close these off. And now I'm good to remove all my connections. So everything's gonna zero out. Even if I go to recover, it's gonna zero out. If I go to self-purge, it'll zero out, all because it's already seen everything. So it's closed. Taking all these hoses off. Don't need this on yet, so I'm gonna take this off. Plus, when I put it back in, I'm not gonna go on the gas side. A lot of you will leave it on there and then put it in the wrong area, okay? So, make sure everything's nice and tight, put everything back. Now this system had 25 PSI. We didn't know if it has liquid, didn't know if it has vapor, just had 25 PSI. And it took us about, we'll say just 10 minutes to do all of this, right? Now imagine a system that has 6, 7, 8 pounds of refrigerant. Okay, it's gonna take you a while because as you recover, the tanks heat up. That's why you have to cool it down. Now you're not gonna see that here. That's why we have not a lot of refrigerant in there, so we can speed this process up for you guys. So you get more repetition instead of doing it once and sitting on it for days. Okay, so my gauges are gonna be done for now. This is gonna be done for now. Everything's done, okay? I can sit this off to the side. Before I hook up my vacuum, I want to make sure that I'm gonna have no restrictions whatsoever. So I'm going to use my Schrader core removal tool, and I'm going to remove the Schrader. So you can remove both Schraders in the field. Here, we don't have enough, and sometimes you guys break these, so we don't want you doing them all. So you're just gonna remove one side. I prefer the suction side just because it's a bigger line. Even though it's all little line here, it's still bigger on this side. All you're gonna do, find the Schrader, lock onto it, turn it to the left, and it'll come out. That little hiss you hear is the vacuum that was actually cooled on this. So it was actually pulling air back in. Well, since I've opened this system up, air and moisture has now gotten into the system. So what do I have to do? I have to evacuate. I have to dry it out, right? So hold on to this. You're gonna put your Schrader core removal tool on. Now it makes it so you can have something else attached to it because it has a point here and a port here. But I'm gonna have you put your micron gauge on the far side, okay? The farthest point of this vacuum. So you're gonna go right here. Make sure all connections are nice and tight. It should hurt to put this stuff on. So, this is a pretty long vacuum hose, right? But this is bigger in diameter than my normal hoses, okay? So it's gonna pull a vacuum faster on this system. Attach it where it needs to go. Take note of what size you have because there's 3 different size ports on vacuum pumps. Sometimes there's only 2 different sizes. Sometimes there's only 1 size, so you have to make sure you have the right size hose for your vacuum pump. Nice and tight. Turn on my micron gauge. I'm gonna make sure that the units in the top right corner are gonna say MIC, okay? It's gonna be kind of hard to read, so you're gonna have to get in front of it, make sure it says MIC. So this one does. The way you know this is working, you're not gonna see numbers right away. You're gonna see a top line flashing across. And then you're gonna see 2 lines. And you're gonna see 3 lines, and then you'll see 2 lines, and then you'll see the bottom line, and then you'll start reading numbers, okay? If you see it going from those lines down, that's a good thing. That means it's working, you just gotta wait a little bit. If you never see numbers and you don't even see those lines changing, you're probably not pulling a good vacuum, so you probably have a leak somewhere. And it mainly is gonna be a connection issue or a bad braze. So, MIC, these shut off automatically. That doesn't mean you lose your vacuum, okay? If this shuts off, just come back, turn it back on when you need to read it. I'm gonna turn this on. This will exhaust, okay? What's happening is it's pulling all the air, all the moisture into this vacuum and boiling it off, okay? So this will smoke, that's okay. If it's a lot of smoke, almost like when you wake up in the morning, like a really cold morning, and your car is exhausting, all that exhaust, you see it, if it looks like that, you had way too much air coming in and getting boiled off, okay? So it should look like this at the most, okay? So we're already reading numbers, we're at 60,000. We have to get below 500. It happens pretty quickly sometimes if everything has been done correctly, okay? So we are gonna let this run and we'll come back and check on this, okay? I don't wanna just sit here and watch it. If you sit here and watch it, it takes longer, okay? So we'll come back in 10 minutes and look at this. Sometimes.